everybody, my name is Schoesse, or you can call me Shoes. We're back in Planet Coaster at Schoesse's World, and you're going to see me build a total of 3 buildings to brighten up our park entrance, so our visitors feel like they are in a very special place. So in this episode, I actually built 3 buildings out of what is found in the World's Fair Pack. So I end up building the diner to start off with. As you can see here, I feel like this would be good for a restaurant. So I end up building an entrance to it. It's very blocky, which I'm not quite the fan of. And just a disclaimer before we go further in, I have never used any of these building sets before. So I have not experimented with them until now. So I was just seeing how it would work. I want people to come into this park feeling like it is more of a... I want them to come into the park as if they're already seeing the world at first glance. And what they can do is they can see each little piece as they enter, and they can determine which world they will go to immerse themselves into that type of experience. So as you can see here, I'm experimenting quite a bit with the signs, trying to see how I can give this building a better look. Actually right now you can see my screen's not moving, and there it is. It wasn't moving because I was actually looking for some inspiration off of Google Images of other diners across the world, in the United States and whatnot. So I end up doing a little bit with the roof. I don't know if I like this entranceway. I want something that pops out a little bit, but I don't know if that's the right way of having it pop out. I do a lot of centering, and as you can see right there, there's lights that attach with the roof. So I end up using a column to flush that roof piece with the main roof, so it just blends in better. And right here I end up using another support beam, or some sort of support beam, and I'm seeing that if that works better, but I determined that it doesn't. But I decided that I could still put it to use, make it a little bit of a design that flushes up with the wall but still sticks out a little bit, and I end up having more of a little bit of a grand entry right here with the entrance and roof design. Now with this sign right here, I was testing it out to see if I could do anything with it. Determined that I really couldn't figure out anything to do with it. So I gotta try to figure out what I can do with a diner sign. It just kind of sits up, doesn't really do anything. So kind of interesting. This piece right here, I'm just giving a little bit more volume to the building. It was kind of random, but the whole idea was that people that walk past, I'll put some bushes back there and stuff, but I didn't want them to see like the back of the building and see how flat it was. So it was kind of more of a barrier. So that's my first diner ever built in this game. So we end up moving to another building, trying to see what works better in the World's Fair Pack. And I end up moving to the like the Moroccan type style building. I didn't take notes on this, so I am basing it off of memory. So I end up making a little bit of an archway, adding my own door. This building I don't like as much. I think it's my least favorite building I think I've built in this park so far. Actually, no, I have to take that back. The old roller coaster that I showed that I closed down, that's right behind this building, has the worst building in this park. That is the worst building so far. But as for me trying in a building, this is actually the worst. You can already see like the doors right there are not centered properly, and I couldn't even click on them, so I have to put them back in again, which was fun. So so this building didn't really have a lot of pieces to it. I think it has some unique pieces, but I can't see where I can make multiple buildings out of this. It was really a challenge for me. So I end up making this building 3 stories, I think, and I end up doing a flat roof. And I was seeing if I could figure out a purpose for the building, but I couldn't figure out one where it would fit in with the front entrance. So honestly, I think I'm gonna end up moving the building somewhere else and replacing this. It's that, or I'm just gonna delete it in its entirety. So I tried putting a little bit more decoration to the building. I mean, like, the building's got good volume, as in, like, it's got enough pieces that stick out. It's not all flat, so I don't mind that too much. I end up putting in some columns on the corners just so it looks a little bit less chunky. It takes me a while to go around the whole thing. I make sure it's all lined up and stuff, and I experiment a little bit. And I have to make sure there's no flickering with the textures and graphics and whatnot, so as that is an issue in Planet Coaster that everyone needs to keep an eye on. Yeah, as you can see right now, it's already a very plain building, very cookie cutter. I think it's the right word to describe it as. It's just a big square that goes up into the sky and has no use. So I was actually fairly disappointed with this building. I may actually end up taking it out like after I'm done recording this. So it was a disappointment is what it was. I disappointed myself with this building. Here I end up adding some windows from the main game. Which ended up actually working out pretty well, but I don't think it made up for any of the flaws of the building. So, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, the only way I can see this building staying in is going into an area where it's a background building, because there's nothing that pops out. There's not a lot of decoration to the building. It's very plain. It looks like it belongs in the background. But as we move on, I end up trying this nice building set right here, like the Bulgarian, or I think it's like Bulgarian, or something along the lines of that. So let's see if Bavarian, that's what it's called. There we go. I ended up searching this up to see if I could get some inspiration to what I could do. At the beginning, you can see I messed up pretty quickly, as I will be putting down an inconsistent square of panels. Some have foundation, some don't, which I realized in a few seconds, where I actually end up having to redo that. But before I started doing any of this, I wanted to make sure this building had a purpose. I felt like it would be a big enough building, and I wanted it to have something to it, so it just didn't sit there. Because the building it looks pretty cool, and I feel like it's in a good spot. So I end up making it a security office, which is one of the staff rooms, and I made a perk so it's a security office or whatever, so security can go and rest there. But yet it also increases the ability of my security people. And here you can see I'm kind of fixing up the corners a little bit with the columns. And I actually end up picking up the other column that doesn't have the foundation piece to it. Actually ends up being a different color, so I end up having to fix that, which was kind of interesting. Wasn't quite expecting that. So, but I gotta say, one of the greatest challenges, which you'll see here soon, is the roof to the building. You know, everything looks pretty nice on this building just because of the wood and the colors. It kind of just pops out, but it's like, I mean, like, there's a lot of wood pieces, but it's not like, I wouldn't say it's overkill, but at the same point, I could say it's overkill. But I feel like it's a good mix. I end up throwing some balconies here so I can give it a little bit more volume. And I was kind of looking at the back to see if I could do the same there. And you can't have balconies without support, so I end up doing that. But like I said before, the roof was the biggest challenge. and I actually end up giving it a blue tint. So let's see where I go from here. Yeah, so I do a wood tile roof and with a steep slope of 4 meters. So it's basically a straight 45-degree angle. And you can see here that it doesn't really have much of it doesn't have any overhang over the sides, which kind of annoyed me. So I end up splitting it from the building, the roof from the building anyhow. And I give it a nice blue tint, and I sit here, contemplate a little bit of how I want to proceed with this, making sure I'm not missing any pieces I could use. And I end up determining that I want to merge these pieces in a little bit more. So as of right now, it's about 4 times 12, or 4 times 3 is 12. So then I end up minusing 1 meter, so end up being 11 meters. Determined that was too much of an overhang, so it ends up being 10 meters long of a roof. Jeez. Never mind. Excuse the math. Excuse the math. It is 2 meters more than the rest of the building in length. So I end up merging some of the roof together. It doesn't have a flicker issue unless if you get really close to it. So thank goodness. But another issue that I ran into here was that there were no 4-meter slope walls. So I end up having to be a little bit creative and use another piece from the main game. And I end up trying a few different ones, like the plastic vinyl, and I think I end up using like a metal or alloy piece, and I end up changing the color to it. And you can see there I tried to find out what the right color was, and I end up just selecting another piece, or I end up selecting another piece and copying the code for that. And it was kind of playing up above, so I end up using some of the columns to give it a little bit more of the design to stay consistent with the rest of the building. Now, like I said before, the whole idea of the entrance to Schoesse's world was to give people more of a feel that they're entering this world and you can see each building at a glance, and that's kind of like a preview before you actually get to the land. So I ended up adding some of the World's Fair stuff to kind of test that idea out. Although now I'm kind of seeing how that can still work, but at the point how it can be very difficult to achieve. So whether or not this stays, I have no idea. The buildings will still be in use, and I may end up changing some of them, but I will still keep the buildings. As for this building, I actually kind of thought about it after I made the video, that it may actually do very well in blending with a village fairy tale theme. As in, like, I can blend a fairy tale village with another land that exists on the park. So I may end up moving that also. A lot of this is all in theory, but I'm just happy I have some buildings in the game. I can always change things after, but the main goal in this game was to actually give our visitors something to look at as they enter, so it's not just a big pit of grass next to them. So, which was one of the issues we had with this park, and Frontierland is doing pretty well, so I want to expand that at some point, but don't know how to at the moment. So I actually kind of want to move on to another theme, but I want to make sure I do it right. So I've been going through a lot of consideration. It's not like I can just redo things, because like, this is money conscious. This is a challenge park. This is not creative. So as you can see here, I'm playing with the windows a little bit to give it more of a more of a village theme, with the flowers and the shutters that stick out. So I thought that worked out pretty well. I only did it for that row to show you guys what it would look like, and I think that was the best building out of them all. So yeah. So at this point, I kind of just looked through the different pieces, realized that I want to add a little bit more to this building. The roof needs a chimney. It's got that village type feel. So I end up searching through some chimneys and grabbing one of them, trying to figure out where to place it because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. But anyhow, that's ends up being where we finish it off. So we got 3 buildings down, a diner, that stupid building that's behind the bathrooms there, and we end up having that Bulgarian building. So now we've reached the end of the video. I appreciate you guys for watching this Let's Play. There's that security guard that's running after that dude. By the way, he is not going to catch him because he's too slow. He needs better training, and he needs to work out more. Anyhow, thank you for watching the video. If you really like this video, hit that thumbs up button so I know that you want to see more. But at the same time, it would really help me out. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. I will be posting them often. And leave a comment down for any suggestions, any tips, or anything like that. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So thank you again, and feel free to watch a little bit of the cinematics till the end. Thanks again. See you guys later.